Call the Groseville Downtown Development Authority meeting to order. Our first item is the Pledge of Allegiance. Marie, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Gonna end up in the parking lot.
Next item on the agenda is roll call. Chairman Moran is here. Supervisor Budney.
Here.
Mr. Anderson. Ms. Pemberton. Ms. Pusak.
Here.
Mr. Ranley.
Here.
Mr. Gergley.
Here.
Ms. Karn.
Here.
And Mr. Jacobson is excused. Next item on the agenda is any additions or deletions to the agenda, and we are deleting item number 8 and adding a new item that is the approval of $3,600 to TNT for the tree removal at the DDA parking lot. And we're adding a discussion item number 2, the toll bridge discussion. With that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Budney, supported by Ms. Pusak. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Next item is the approval of the minute, or presentations. We have none today, right, Ross? No presentations. Next item is the approval of the minutes of the July 27th, 2023 meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes. I support.
Motion by Mr. Supervisor Budley, supported by Mr. Ranley. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Next item is our financial update of the approval of July 2023 financial report. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to look through that. And Ross, is there anything you wanted to point out on the financial report?
Nope, but you will see in next month's meeting, it'll be our last payment for the murals. Our murals for this year is complete, so I just wanted to point that out.
Also, I got a question about the drainage grant. You explain what that is?
Yeah, the way that the finance director had these items, these expenditure items listed, she put drainage grant / DDA grant. I'm not sure why she put drainage, because the township has a drainage grant, but the DDA does not. We have a facade grant or a business
Okay.
improvement grant.
So that's just the okay.
Yeah, it was just.
You should really just cross out the
Cross
word
out the
drainage.
drainage.
Yeah, and
Okay.
unfortunately, within the program, these types of things crop up, I mean, in other departments too, where there's, we'll have like building maintenance golf course in our general fund, and you go,
Right, yeah.
why that's in there, who knows, but yeah, this is just our DDA grant.
Any other questions or comments on the financial report? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Budney,
Second.
supported by Mr. Gergley. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. We are still waiting for our Art on the Aisle consultant to appear at the meeting, so we are going to skip items 1 through 6 and move to item number 7, which is a motion to award business improvement grant funds for $5,000 to Perdino's for landscaping improvements. Ross, do you want to speak on that?
Yeah, so you'll see in your packet that the work was done August 7th, and typically we don't hand out grants if the work is already done. I've been working with Perry at Perdino's for a couple months now. He had completed everything, all the paperwork last month. I just couldn't get it on the agenda, that we had a lot going on. So this is my slip up. But regardless, he had all the proper documentation. He got 2 quotes. He went with more landscaping. The landscaping in front of Perdino's looks pretty good. I'm sure everyone has seen. He also did his parking lot too. So there's a lot of improvements going on at Perdino's.
Really good.
Yeah.
Ross, did he get you that before he did the work?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And we had been talking. He had approached me months ago, so I should have right then and there just got it on the agenda. But things have been, a lot's been going on lately, so, but, just wanted to kind of give some background there, so.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions for Ross on the improvement grant? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the grant to Perdinos.
By Mr. Bundy,
Support.
supported by Mr. Gergley. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Our next item is a motion to approve funds for holiday lights and decorations for Macomb Street in Macomb Commons to Leclerc Display in the amount of $9,060. And in your package should be a proposal from Leclerc that hopefully everybody's had a chance to review that. He's got it broken down as to what he's supplying and what each item costs for the two locations. Ross, did he do this last year?
He did. Instead of the snowflakes, so we're gonna have snowflakes and then stars on each different pole, but we didn't get an additional charge for that. It's just a little something different. And then it is the same price as last year. And then once we figure out the tree situation with, which Marie, thank you for getting on that.
But, I mean, there's no guarantee. It's a
Right, yeah,
national
but-
tree shortage, but
Right, but then we'll get a separate bill for that. So, and I think that maybe next year we work on possibly even purchasing our own lights because I mean this is a lot of money we're spending just to rent some lights, right? So, but
I guess to that, I would, I don't know, with labor and storage
Yeah,
and
that's
all of
very
that,
true.
maybe just, see what other cities do, but.
yep, I think Leclerc does does work in Wyandotte. That's how we kind of figured out about them. So
I love them.
yeah, no, yeah,
one
they're
way or
great.
the other.
Yeah,
I
they're
love
great to
'em.
work with.
Wyandotte does theirs, and I think they leave them up, and it just changed the color.
That's what at one point someone presented that,
Yeah.
Oh, like leave it up year round.
and they can change the color for the different holidays.
They
and
just take
events.
down the stuff that's saying, they leave the poles lit.
Okay,
They just
gotcha.
don't turn them on. Then they Halloween and stuff, they turn them, a different color, Thanksgiving,
Okay, yeah. I mean, maybe I'll talk with them and see if it costs more money
Might be
to.
cheaper that way, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do we get multiple quotes for this, or do we typically? Is
So-
there a reason why we don't?
We've been using them for years. Typically, we'd go out for bid for this, but if we've been using the same contractor, right, I think that we.
Well, you can, there's certainly nothing to stop you from going out for bids, which is never a bad idea, just to see what's out there.
Right.
Yeah, I think every so often we should go out for bid to, just see if it's still a competitive price, so.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll support.
Motion by Marie, supported by Jim to approve Leclerc in the amount of $9,060. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. The next item is a motion to approve $3,600 to TNT for the tree removal at the DDA parking lot. And if you remember at our last meeting, there was a storm and it knocked down a tree and there were a couple other dead ones that needed to be removed. So we talked about this at the last meeting, but now we're approving the expenditure.
So this has already been done now?
Yes.
Yep. And it looks like they removed 4 pine trees and 2 mulberry trees that were dead. So there was a lot of dead foliage over there.
While we're talking about trees, is there any way to get some of those trees trimmed up and down the sidewalks? If
Yep.
you're on a bicycle, you gotta kinda,
Yeah, I noticed that too
few
when I
of
was
them that are
walking.
really low.
Yeah, we got to look in our ordinance to see if we can enforce that type of thing. Otherwise, kind of just
Are you
reaching
talking
out.
up and down the street or just in one spot or? Because I know like at the corner, it used to drive me crazy, like the gazebo area, but.
No, up and down Macomb.
All the way.
Okay.
Yeah, it really
Yeah,
is.
Because
all
there
up
is
and down it,
all over the place.
on
Okay.
both sides of the street too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if we don't have any ordinances, we're kind of going through an ordinance overhaul right now, township with the community development, so we can incorporate that too to see if there's any way that we can kind of get property owners to, upkeep their trees and to keep the sidewalk clear, so.
It's the same on the DDA side of Grace Drive. Like normally, one of us just goes down with the trimmers and cuts it.
Yeah.
But it gets overgrown in the summer every year.
Yep.
Husband just trimmed ours, maybe we can hire him out.
I had one more question about the tree trimming as well in that same parking lot. So by the hedges, there's like an ornamental tree by the grassy area. That's dead as well.
They didn't remove that?
They did not.
Okay.
So I don't know if they were supposed to or just nobody noticed, but it died. The leaves are still on it from last year, the dead leaves. So it's
Gotcha.
a small ornamental right by the hedge there.
Gotcha. Okay, we'll look into that then.
Right behind, it's right behind the sculpture.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I will
By
support.
Ms. Pulsek, supported by Mr. Budney. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. We will now move back up to action item number 1. And these are the items that we had some discussion at our last meeting concerning the rental or purchase of some sculptures. And our consultant, Ally, is here. You're up.
Hi, everyone. How are you guys doing? Good.
Is that too tall for you? Or is that okay? Or do you need
I
it
think
down
it's
a little?
okay.
Okay.
Does it sound okay?
It actually moves
I
up
might
and
not
down.
have just been close enough.
Okay.
Okay, so we can do, I guess, a quick review of what we went over last week.
Well, Ally, why don't we take these one at a time? And then
Okay.
we'll vote
Yeah,
on
yeah.
each one
Yeah.
after
Okay.
you explain it. So the first
Yep.
one is motion to approve the purchase of the Kelly O'Neill sculpture Time in the amount of $3,900. And if you remember, the discussion last week was that we could either rent it for 2 years or lease it for 2 years for $3,000 or purchase it for another $900, which would include the painting of the one part of it that
Raw.
is sort of still,
Steel element.
but
Yep.
I'll turn it over to you, Ally.
Yep, so we actually, Ross, did you pull those up? So there are a couple of mock-ups of color options. So I wanted to,
So we can zoom out here. So many things popping up. Just kind of roll.
okay. No, you're good, you're good. Okay. Yeah, so we're gonna do a scrolling view of this. This is what a brighter blue would look like with this piece, which I think is really nice. And then we have a yellow, very bold. And then there was a neutral option of like a slate, dark graphite, which is just more of a neutral rather than those bold, bright colors. I think the first one is really nice.
Can you go back to the blue?
Yep.
Because now, Ron, is that a different? Is that looking different on there than it does on our screens here? This looks bluer. That looks a little more.
Yeah, I think on that screen, it's a little duller blue, where on our screen here in front of us, it's a brighter blue.
Yeah. So I just wanted to
Yeah.
know which one is it?
Yeah,
Which
so-
one's the?
On the screen that I have up here, like it looks different from the monitor. The monitor might be
Yeah, and it could be
colors.
right. I mean, because ours
What
looks
I'm
blue.
noticing, the blue looks pretty much the same on mine. The water is much more muted on my screen, so that could be playing tricks
Same
with
on
the
ours.
eyes
Yeah.
a
Same
little
on-
bit.
Yep.
It's fairly close though. I don't know. Can I turn this around? Does it?
It's the
You're
same
saying it
one.
looks
It's
mu-
the same
okay.
one.
Okay.
So it'd be more like
Yeah.
this. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Which is still bright and bold.
I missed last month's meeting, so I'm just catching up a little bit.
Yeah.
Did we discuss where these are going, or is that come
We
later?
Yeah, we did. I created a mock-up location of potential locations for each, and there are several options in terms of locations for most of the pieces, whereas I think last year with the Nordine Brothers pieces, we were a little bit more limited in where we could put them because of their size and height. So these ones I think will be a little bit easier to place, but if you'd like, I can go through that too. I was
I'll
thinking,
catch up.
I was hopefully the CVS parking lot. There's some trees that kind of almost frame a little area it's right in front of the parking lot. I think it would look very nice there, but just an option.
I'm in favor of the blue. I don't know
I-
how anybody else feels.
I agree.
I'm a no on the yellow, that's for sure.
That looks like
Okay.
a flash.
So,
Okay, well, I guess it's been decided that we're going to go with the blue, and is everyone in favor of purchase instead of lease?
Yeah.
I think that makes more sense.
Does someone want to make a
I will make a
motion?
motion to purchase the Kelly O'Neill time in blue and red, cost of $3,900.
Support.
Got a motion by Mr. Bundy, supported by Ms. Penderton. Is there any further discussion?
Just, again,
Marie?
playing catch-up. So we own this, and say 5 years down the road, we want to sell it, we can sell it.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
There's no further questions. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Item number 2 is a motion to approve the lease of Kelly O'Neill sculpture windows in the amount of $3,000 for a 2-year stipend, $1,500 for 2023 and $1,500 for 2024. Ally?
So this piece is pretty straightforward. It's the leasing stipend that we proposed. She's not requesting more. I think that this piece is really great. It's, again, incorporating glass, so variation of material in terms of what we had last year. If anyone has any questions.
My
on
question
this.
is on the 2023's only got about 4 months left. Is it 2 years or is it 23, 24?
No, it's 2 years.
It will be from.
So it'll be into 25.
Correct. Yep. We'll be shooting to install these, have them installed and completed by September 21st. And so it will run from
From there
September
for 2
21st,
years.
2023 until September 21st, 2025.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just that we make the payments in 2023, and we make our first payment in 2023, second payment in 2024.
For the first year and the second year. Yeah.
And then-
yeah,
Just to
that's
break it
fine.
up.
No, that's fine. It's just,
Yeah.
I want to make sure we're
It
getting 2 years.
probably should say we're starting in
Yeah.
2023, so.
That's fine. So,
And Ally, how tall is that roughly?
This piece is,
Because it looks fairly tall
It
from the
is.
picture.
I have to pull up the,
every time I look at this, I think it's at the school over on East River. Looks like it is.
give me just a moment. I want to say it's about 16 feet. I'm gonna have to backtrack through the.
Okay, no, that's
yeah.
okay. I mean, I just
Yeah,
wanted a
it's
rough
tall.
idea.
It's tall.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Taller than you.
I will find it and by the end of the meeting for you guys while we're going through the rest of it.
There's no other questions. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Support?
Motion by Mr. Ranley, supported by Mr. Bunny to approve the Kelly O'Neill's sculpture windows. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Item number 3 is a motion to approve the lease of the Henry Coonrod's sculpture, Human Presence, in the amount of $4,000 for a 2-year stipend for starting in 2023 for $2,000 and $2,000 for 2024. Ally?
So Henry's piece does not require a foundation. So the total cost for the DDA to install this year would be $4,000. So that additional request for leasing, that $1,000 additional, is including the cost for him to install the piece himself. I would say this is my favorite piece, and that's just my personal preference. I think it's really unique. It casts really beautiful shadows on the ground. So it kind of changes throughout the day. And again, different material, just something that's, I think, very unique.
And we discussed last meeting that that's a metal frame,
Correct.
not a wood frame around it.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Anybody have any questions for Ally on this item?
I think we all like this one. So I would make a motion that we do the lease on Henry Coonrod's, is it Coonrod?
Coonrod.
For the
believe.
Human Presence sculpture. At
Support.
$4,000 now, okay.
Got a motion by Mr. Bundy, supported by Mr. Gurgley. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Item number 4 is a motion to approve the lease of Carolyn Del Guidance sculpture, Frame of Reference, in the amount of $3,000 for a 2-year stipend starting in 2023 for $1,500 and $1,500 for 2024. Ally?
So this piece, again, does not require the DDA to have a foundation made for it. As you can see in this image, it is installed right on the grass area. I think this piece is really unique. She is a pretty relevant artist. She currently has a show at David Klein Gallery downtown. So I think it's a elevated piece for the collection of leased pieces that we have.
Is it something that kids can play on, or can you touch it? I mean,
It's not meant to be like a jungle gym. I think that she definitely considers that this is something that lends itself to wanting to have kids climb on. It's a very heavy piece, so it structurally is going to be on the ground and secure. But just as we kind of talked about with the Nordine Brothers pieces, who's not to say that any kid won't climb any one of the sculptures? They shouldn't, and I definitely would discourage that. But
And I think if that happens on a regular basis, we'll figure out how to
yeah,
rope it off or somehow.
yes,
Might even start with put a sign by it, because it does
it
kind
lends
of
it
look like
kind
a
of
jungle
has
gym
to
or
be-
something.
Yeah,
But and where we have it and everything, if we set it up right, it's not
Yes.
going to be, where you're going to have a lot of kids. They're going to have to walk down to it. So
exactly. I had thought of I know we talked about this a little bit last meeting. I thought of the post office property for this piece because it's kind of it would be kind of set back. So hopefully things like that will kind of deter kids from jumping on it and
Yeah.
using it as a playscape. But so those are things that we can think about when it comes to install.
it's the adults I worry about.
Yeah, I mean, it looks fun.
So what would happen if it was damaged by children climbing
So
on it?
That's why we sign a contract with the artist. And there are, we worked through the contract quite extensively last year that the DDA will be signing with each artist. And they are supposed to have their pieces insured. So there's different, elements to that, to the contract in terms of how damaged the piece is.
Can you repeat what
And
Elizabeth's question was? Because we didn't hear it down here.
she had asked what happens if the piece is damaged.
Okay.
And what
And
do
that
we do
is
then?
part of the contract. I
Yes.
mean, it
Yep.
goes into.
Yep. So before these are installed, each artist has to sign this contract and
And this is a
submit it back
steel,
to us.
Yeah.
Carry insurance.
Yes. Yep.
Or does it, they're all required to carry insurance, or it varies by contract?
Yes. And if they don't have insurance, then they will be paying out of pocket. So, yeah, you're welcome.
any other questions on item number 4?
I'll make a motion.
I'll support.
Motion by Mr. Gurgley, supported by Mr. Budney. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Item number 5 is a motion to approve the lease of Nicholas Ashman's sculpture Tangled in the amount of $3,000 for a 2-year stipend starting in 2023 for $1,500 and 2024 for $1,500.
This piece will require a foundation and is not over the proposed leasing stipend of the $3,000 over the 2 years. This is also, I think this piece and Human Presence are my 2 top favorites. Again, incorporating more color into the pieces. I love it. And I hope you guys do too.
What was
Does
the
anyone have any
timing
questions
of
on this
completion
one?
on that one?
What was that?
The timing of completion?
So we are pushing to have every piece installed by September 21st. So he is currently working on this piece with the hopes that it is accepted and ready to be installed by the 21st.
There was an option to light the base or the
He
glass?
he had mentioned that. He was talking about lighting it from within, so the glass would kind of glow a little bit. I don't know if that will occur additional cost for him, but that's something that we can definitely talk with him about. Yeah. So
How would that be?
I would like
Do
for
you know how that would be lit? Because
So he was talking about lighting them from within those. So there's 3 individual
Okay.
spheres that those are set on. The glass is set on. So I think he is thinking of lighting them. I don't know from inside of those or like casting the light up. But on the topic of lighting, I think that I know we have looked into lighting the current pieces that we have. I think it creates a different feeling when the pieces are lit in general. So that could be something that we think about for all of the pieces.
I think it's a good idea.
Yep.
Any other questions, comments? If not, somebody want to make a motion?
Motion to approve?
Go ahead.
Motion by Mr. Ranley,
Support.
supported by Mr. Budney. Any other comments, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. For item number 6, Ally, there was a question about when this was submitted. You had a submittal deadline of a certain day,
Yep.
and then Did this come after that deadline, and was that
Yes.
because?
So we've had two different deadlines. So when I had initially, months ago, I believe it was maybe February, March meeting, and I had proposed to the board to leave the sculpture submission more open-ended due to the fact that we don't want to make a decision on pieces that you don't feel are of quality. So if you received 0 submissions this year for pieces that you didn't feel comfortable with installing, we were going to leave that open until you received enough quality submissions, was what we had discussed. And we moved the deadline back once, and then I received this submission, and I am recommending to lease this piece over the red box. I don't know if the board will be able to come to an agreement with the artist that did the red box, Louise. She was requesting $5,000, and to install that piece, you would have to have a concrete foundation that is double the size of the rest of the foundations
that was
that are being.
a real
Yeah, so it will
base.
be pretty costly to lease that piece. Simon is also requesting more. There's several factors that go into his leasing request. If he is approved, he would be coming from Texas, driving with his work, and then he will be spending 2 to 3 days to install it on site. Because each one of these pieces are individual cast glass pieces that have to be assembled on site. So it is a bit of a process for him, and he's going to be spending quite a bit of time driving. So he's including his travel cost within that.
Allie, weren't some of these going to also be blue, or every other one was
Yes.
going to be blue?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So there are some, there is some room to kind of allow this piece to be more specific to Grows Eel and it be unique. So he's going to be incorporating different colors of glass. So there's a little bit of option to kind of make it what you guys want it to be.
All the ones we're looking at, this is my favorite one.
I prefer this over the box.
So we originally had a deadline. We extended it because we were looking for
Yes.
more submittals.
Yes.
We got enough that you like to recommend to us, and we had the discussion at our last meeting that we liked these, and so we're approving them tonight. Okay.
If I may, is there a price to purchase this? Was there anything?
So I believe he gave some examples of previous pieces of these, and they range from like $12,000 to $20,000. But it's definitely something I think could be discussed with him. And that could be, a factor that you see how you are enjoying it over this first year of leasing, and then if you're really interested in purchasing this piece from him, you could revisit that in a year, and so you'd kind of be breaking up the payment if you eventually wanted to follow through with purchasing it.
I like that idea.
Yeah,
I mean, we really could do that with any of these, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
we could
I
approach
would-
the artist to buy any of them.
I would
if
recommend.
After a period
yeah.
of time, we decided we liked it, so.
Yep, and that's a way, Kelly's piece is a little bit more unique because we are asking her to re-powder coat it, so she's not going to do that if it's just being leased. So that's something where we kind of you have to make the decision up front. But the rest of the pieces, if there are 12 pieces, I think it's a great idea to live with them and have them installed for a year and really see how you guys like them and are enjoying them and how people are responding to them. And if there's a lot of interest in certain pieces, then you could consider purchasing any of those, and that would help to break the payment up too, so you weren't having to pay for it all at once. You could make the final payment at the end of the 2-year leasing.
Well, so item number 6 is a motion to approve the lease for Simon Waranch's sculpture Simon Tower in the amount of $4,800 for a 2-year stipend starting in 2023 for $2,400 and $2,400 for 2024.
Was that the motion, or was that?
Yeah, I just read it, yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a
Mr.
motion to
Gurley made the
approve.
motion
I'll support.
to approve, and who
It was
supported?
me, April.
Supported by Ms. Karn. All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you, Ally. I
Guys.
know it's always a challenge to
Yeah.
get
I'm-
submittals and a challenge to review them and get this all worked out, so we appreciate all your work and
Thank
making this happen.
you. I appreciate you guys, and I think that these are really exciting pieces, so I'm glad that you guys like them, and I can't wait to see them installed. All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks. We'll move on to our discussion items. Discussion item number 1 is the DDA Director's Report. Well, we really want a discussion item right under the bridge, and then we'll go to yours. Okay. Our discussion item is the, I guess, is it the, Marie, is it the question of what's happening with the toll bridge?
Yeah, I guess, from, the business's point of view or reference, I would look for communication from the township on the status of the bridge. I don't want to read what I need, the things on Facebook. And and Jerry and I talked about it. So
Yeah. And, excuse
and
me.
like obviously things are happening because there was an offer and blah, blah. I'm busy running my business. And I just don't want to get my information from Facebook. I want to get it from the township.
What are we talking about? Are we talking about the load limit being
Yeah.
reduced? That's
And
what
how
we're
that's
talking-
going to affect us.
And, and obviously, it affects the businesses because the load limit is less, so if that truck has to go around, if it would normally come across the toll bridge, but now it's got to go around, that's how it's going to affect you.
And right
and
now,
what-
I'm small enough that I'm okay with
Yeah.
things coming across
Right.
the free bridge.
Right, right. And right now, we're trying to get from the toll bridge exactly why that happened and how long in that duration that's going to be or what's going on with it. So we have no information. We were only told the day it dropped, we got a call, it's dropping, and that is all that was said. So we're trying to get more information. But yeah, obviously, if the weight limits are lower, the trucks are smaller. In this case, I think it gets it down to pretty much no trucks.
Exactly. No trucks, no boats, no trailers.
And then you got the Free Bridge is gonna close, possibly.
Well,
for
now
repair.
not within the realm of what's here. I mean, a lot of things are,
That
could
would be a real problem. if
Well,
that was-
and I'd be willing to say that Wayne County wouldn't close that bridge if that bridge was
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
It'd postpone the work that they're gonna do.
Right, yeah, 'cause we wouldn't get
But,
anything.
that is a private bridge, and information really doesn't have to be given to anyone. I mean, not to say that they won't, but so far we haven't gotten anything. So we're trying to get that, and we'll pass that, as we always do, pass it out when we get it.
Good enough.
Anything else for Mr. Bundy? Any other questions?
Nope, thank you.
Okay. All right, now we'll move on to the DDA Director's Report, the Commercial Rehabilitation Act. Ross?
So I'm not going to dive too much into this, but I did want to get this on the agenda so that you all could read through it in time for next month's meeting. I will be giving a presentation on this to recommend to the board. Basically, it's an incentive for existing businesses and new businesses who are interested in purchasing or rehabilitating their property. It's basically a tax incentive. It's kind of confusing, but once I kind of spell it out for you next month, it won't be as confusing. We had our kickoff meeting for our business retention and attraction program. This is going to be a part of that. It's going to be part of a tool that we can use to incentivize new or existing businesses to possibly rehabilitate their buildings and to attract new ones to come set up on Macomb. So
Wait, can I ask you a question about that?
Yep.
All right, so this makes them tax exempt for up to 10 years.
it's
For an existing business,
right.
not a piece of property that's not being used, right?
Right, correct. You have to make, I forgot what the threshold is. It's either $50,000 or $150,000 for you of improvements for you to qualify for this break.
Okay,
And
but that's for a business that is basically failing, is what you're saying.
no, it could be Marie has her pet store or pet and garden store, and she might want to make $100,000 of physical improvements onto her property, and then she can push this through the board and ask for them to file this with the state, and then they give her a tax exemption for up to 10 years. But we get to, depending on how we work this out, it's anywhere from 4 to 10 years, I believe.
Okay, but that's taxes that come to the city, to the township,
Correct.
which is also taxes that come to the DDA.
Of course. So
but
that's
They still have to pay school tax.
yeah. In some cases you can be exempt from that. It's all depending on how we want this
So
to
it's
go.
very minute then,
Well,
amount. The school
Like I said-
tax is the biggest part of the
Right.
taxes.
yeah. But like I said, we'll dig into this more next month. I didn't want to, we kind of went through a bunch today.
Yeah,
but-
I guess, and to kind of break it down, like Brett is saying, realistically, if we were to look at, who would really be interested in this program, who, would it be Lloyd's, would it be me, would it be, Brett,
Yeah. No, yeah, it's open to anybody.
Anybody with a business.
Anybody with a business, or multifamily units. If you make improvements to multifamily units, like the units that are on
The
Macomb,
condos or whatever.
the property owner says, "Hey, I can get my taxes frozen for 6-7 years if I make this amount of improvements," which, there's probably room for improvements there, or if they're just thinking about it and then they file through with this. So
You're going to dig into it
Yeah.
in more detail?
much more detail.
Go through an explanation at the
formal
next meeting?
presentations,
Okay.
and yes, but I just wanted to get this in front of you guys so you could read through it ahead to ask those questions to me next month. So
Okay. Any other questions for Ross?
Nope.
I got a few more items here though.
Oh, go ahead.
And like I said earlier, the last mural was completed. I think that we might be considering one more next year, but for this year's program, Art on the Aisle mural program is done. And I just want to thank Bo Stanton, Jesse Castle, Camilla Pardo, and Michelle for her work on that. And then we do have Island Nights tomorrow. The weather's looking interesting.
Questionable.
But
Of course it is.
of course, why not? We were talking earlier. Unless there's a tornado that goes through Macomb Street, we're not canceling. So pray for no tornadoes at least.
well, I mean, we didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
I mean, Mother's Nature has not been kind.
I
so-
know. Yep.
Not at all.
Not at all. But there's still some cool things going on in the businesses up and down Macomb Street. So either way. And then September 6th at 9 o'clock in the morning, we will have our business network meeting. That's basically a chance for all the businesses to get together. We're going to have some coffee, some donuts, some bagels at Hummingbird Cafe.
Hey, wait, is Hummingbird Cafe open now?
They are soon. They're kind of just,
They're not.
yeah.
That's a heck of an answer.
Yeah, they
Yes, we have
they
no
will be
bananas.
by
they host events like on Art on the Isle. They're hosting like an art exhibit type deal. So, but they will be open here shortly. They just had some personal issues that they're working through. So
So by this September 6th or whatever, they'll be.
we're hoping, yeah, that's what we're hoping for. And that's all I have.
Anything else? That's it?
Yep.
Next item is the chairman's report, and I was just going to mention about, like Ross did about the murals, to thank Michelle for arranging and lining up those muralists. I think they all look really good, and I think we should be proud that we were able to get those high-quality artists to do work here on Groseal, because there were people that have done this kind of work all over the world, and for us to get them here on Groseal, I think was pretty special by Michelle. So thank her, and thank Ross. I see our benches and our trash cans are out finally, so
That looks nice.
thank you for getting
They look
those
really
done.
good,
They
too.
all look
You did a
good.
nice job.
Hopefully they'll get a lot of use.
I have to say, I was noticed, we helped Chriselle with her sign in front of the seniors. I forget what the name of her business card's called. Sorry, Chriselle. It looks really nice. It's very nice.
And hopefully we'll see everybody at Island Nights tomorrow, somewhere on the street. That's all I have to report. Our next item is public comment. Any comment from the public? Nothing? Is there any open business by any members of the DDA? Nobody has anything? Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
By Mr. Budney,
Support.
Nobody
I'll
wants,
support.
nobody wants to
I will
support by Ms. Card. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries.
Thank you, Ally.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.